President Trump took aim at Canada this week, attacking what he calls massive tariffs on American goods. Meanwhile, China says it's poised to react if the president's latest tariff threat materializes. Some states are especially vulnerable. For Colorado, Canada is its largest market. The state exported $1.4 billion in goods in 2016. Mexico and China are the next largest. Joining us now is Colorado's Democratic Governor, John Hickenlooper. Thank you so much for your time, Governor. I'm just wondering, given this hardline stance on the national level, is there still a place for states to keep cooperation and business with these countries?
Absolutely. And I think many governors are trying to reach out and maintain the relationships. And most of us governors recognize that any trade agreement, whether it's NAFTA or any trade agreement, always needs to be improved. There can be problems. But long term, getting to fair trade helps both sides, both countries. And, I was talking to a guy just yesterday, a guy from the cattle industry, the beef industry, and they were describing how in Korea, the Costco's have to restock their beef department 3 times before lunch. Well, that is a commodity enhancement, right, or a commodity price enhancement. When you have that much demand from other parts of the world, that helps lift up commodity prices, not just in Colorado, but around the country. And right now, especially in ag, that's important.
Sure, we do like our beef in South Korea. Governor Matt Bevin yesterday of Kentucky told me that he has never seen an administration so open to dialogue and engagement with states. Does that also apply to Democrats and their states?
Well, probably not quite the same level of open door, but I think, if you want to get yourself heard, you can do it. And the challenge is there is a feeling among a lot of Democrats that they don't get into the right meeting, where decisions are actually getting made or opinions really on important issues get voiced.
So, Governor, we just had the Supreme Court come down with a major decision today involving state sales tax, basically saying that those online sales have to be subject to state sales tax. What's that going to mean for the finances of the state of Colorado?
Well, I think it'll help the finances some. We're already collecting taxes from Amazon on the products that they produce. But this is going to create a much more level playing field. It's going to help the bookstores and the sporting goods stores, the bricks and mortar companies that in many cases support their school districts and do bake sales. It's going to help them be more successful, which I think strengthens the whole community.
Governor, we also have this raging issue about immigration, of course. It climaxed yesterday in an executive order dealing with the families that have been broken up. How does that affect the people of Colorado? As people of Colorado look at this situation on the southern border, what would they like to have happen?
Well, I mean, what you're seeing is clinical child abuse. You're traumatizing these kids who really have done nothing wrong. And I think everyone I've talked to in Colorado is embarrassed by it. We're talking about international trade. We need to find ways that we can build our relationships and build trust and the predictability that you need to have any kind of business transaction. In this case, seeing almost a police state along the border and breaking apart children from their families really is unconscionable. It's hard to imagine that it's happening in America.
And any parent who watched that would share exactly your thoughts, without a doubt. At the same time, to be fair, the president yesterday, as he announced this, he said, we do have a problem because we have a lot of people showing up at our southern border claiming asylum. We have to have some process by which we can decide whether they should be entitled to it or not. How do you really put those two things together?
Well, certainly we've got work to do. And I understand that you need borders. Borders have a purpose, and we've got to be able to secure our borders. But the zero tolerance approach that the president embarked on some months ago clearly has unintended consequences that most Americans don't want anything to do with. So let's, again, this is a great chance for the White House to bring together Republicans, Democrats, stakeholders from various sides of the issue and work through where do we agree? Let's make the first steps. How do we get to the next level? And ultimately, how do we begin to change a situation that's clearly not working?
Governor, 2020 is far off just yet, but you're widely talked as a potential presidential candidate. When would you start considering such a bid?
Well, certainly my wife and I have talked about it, but we've given ourselves the summer to really talk to other people and discuss it. I mean, it's a tremendous compliment. I think it's good for Colorado. It really is a way of saying, look how great Colorado is, your #1 economy in the country. And that's a good thing. I love talking about how great Colorado is.
You built a reputation as a centrist. How important is it to find a unifying candidate here in such a divisive political environment?
Well, I'm not sure what centrist means, because in many cases, if you look at universal health care, I support that 100%. I don't view that as a centrist issue. I am pro-small business, and I do think that we should be careful about not having too many rules and regulations that limit the ability of businesses, and especially small businesses, to become the best they can be. So is that an extreme position? I don't know. I do hope that the Democrats are, I think, stepping forward as the party with solutions and answers to some of these really difficult problems like immigration.
Governor, we have a tendency to blame our political leadership when we think that they aren't doing the right thing, and that can be either Republicans or Democrats. To some extent, we get the leadership that we elect. And is the president, is the country right now ready for someone like you, who is a pragmatist, who does not go to either ideological extreme? Is the country ready for that?
Oh, I don't know. And I'd have to, that's part of what my wife and I are going to discuss this summer. Certainly the rhetoric that you see out there in various media would suggest the opposite. But I'm not sure that reflects all of America. And certainly the country is, in many of these on many of these issues, really is divided. And maybe the challenge is to figure out different ways of talking about the problems, or trying to get the stakeholders together in a less confrontational circumstance to allow us to begin to get to, what are the pragmatic compromises and solutions.
Democrats have been driven by this anti-Trump, anti-president sentiment, and there have been challenges in the primaries because too many Democrats showed up as candidates. Could that be a problem for 2020?
Yeah, maybe, but I don't think so. I think as long as Democrats stay focused on, we are the party of the future. We're looking ahead. We're going to see solutions that work for the whole country. I think we could have dozens of candidates. And again, I would bracket that by saying also we got to stay positive. You don't want to have 20 candidates attacking each other. But if we stay positive, more good ideas just makes the party stronger.